Insight here on Zodiac. My name is Teresa Temwekandanga. Today, I'm talking to Mr. Ulemu Msungama. You probably know this name. He was the MCP candidate in the Lilongwe City Southeast constituency polls. He has been challenging the poll result since 2014. Now it's 2017. 3 years down the line, the Supreme Court has said that there should be a rerun in the constituency. Now we want to discuss the process and, of course, his future plans. Welcome to the program, Mr. Msungama.
Thank you, Teresa.
So, first of all, just take me back. May 2014, when the election took place. What triggered this dispute? Why did you have to challenge the result in court?
Thank you very much. What made me actually to fight this thing in court is because things did not go on well, didn't go well. I'm saying didn't go well because I won the election. You know, as a constituency, have centers. Our constituency has about 18 centers, polling centers. Out of 18 centers, I won most of them. But then what happened was after the announcement, because even before, even new media houses knew what the result, how the results came out. I mean, like how much we scored, all candidates. You're talking of even the independents and all of us that participated. I actually discovered that I had won. When we added all the centers, it actually showed that I had won, and people were so happy, we were so excited. Some of the monitors left the centers because they are extremely excited that the elections have been successful on our side. But now when we heard, before the results were announced at Main Tari Center in Blanta, I had gone to, there was a parallel Tari Center in Lilongwe here, that was Lilongwe Training Center, the road going to Blanta, just there, where there is a National Construction Industry Council, that's the NCIC. I'd gone there just to see how people are doing, and then how is the process going like, and then I discovered that there was a center that they had tamed the results. And then looking into other centers, I also discovered, now this was Chilinde Center. Every candidate, when we were comparing, if you see the result sheet, you were supposed to add up. So, in other words, if the figures were supposed to add up, in other words, if the registered voters, I will specifically give an example for Lilongwe, for Chilinde Center.
Right.
3,146 people voted. 3,146 people voted. So what happened is, if you are voting, assuming that you are an independent, you got 10 votes. I'm for Malawi Congress Party. I got maybe 200 votes. Maybe our friend has got 115. Then when you add up all this,
They should come up to 3,000.
They're supposed to add up to 3,146.
Right.
That is addition to null and void.
Right.
Right. Now, looking at this one, because that result sheet for MEC, it was clear, straightforward. You can't argue. It was straightforward. I looked at it, I said, no, something has happened here. You could add up all the streams for all the candidates. They were adding up. Mine were not adding up. What I wanted the nation to know is, it was like stream number 1, let's say I got 141. Stream number 2, I got 100 votes. Stream number, and there were 6 streams. So if you add up, simple mathematics, that doesn't even require a secondary school student. Even a standard 5 student can do that. You add all the streams, they were giving you 774. I remember the figure. 774. But this one, 774, but it was given 674. That means there was no 100 votes. Now, the way they designed this result sheet, you were supposed to balance horizontal and vertical. You add up, and then they were supposed to give you 3,146. But in this case, if it's less 100, it was coming to 3,046. That is plus null and void. So that means 100 votes were missing, which was clear there.
Okay, so basically what you're saying, and did this happen in several centers, or
No,
is
this is one. This is just one center, like the anomaly that I had noticed. You see, that's just in the center.
Okay.
And then came Mulotsa Center. Mulotsa Center. The people that voted were about, I think, 5,000 thereabout. So my votes. Some of my votes, if you add up, some, the null and void were about 300 plus. What we discovered is some of my votes were added into the null and void. Yeah.
Okay. So way before you went to the Tally Center, you knew that you had won.
Yes.
Okay, that was by your own counting,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That was not the mix result.
And, okay, actually, when I had gone to the Tally Center at that Longway Center,
right? When
I had gone there, I remember meeting this guy for Malawi Electoral Commission. His name is Gadama. He's Gadama. I'm still there. I called him. I said, "Look, what is happening here?" So the guy could say it. He says, "No, there's a problem here." I said, "No, what are you going to do?" But that what the guy told me was, even if you after adding up all the results, you still won. So what's the point for you to argue? I said, "Come on. Anything can happen. If this thing happened now, likely something else can happen." Now the margin is becoming, we are becoming so close.
Okay,
so anything can happen. But I want this to be worked on. And then we argued on this one, and then he was like, "No, we have to call the presiding officer that was there." I waited the whole day there, and the person was like, I'm coming. And then in the evening, the lady told me that, "No, I'm going to Blantyre. I've gone to Blantyre to the main Tally Center." Okay. Yes.
So in the end, anyways, someone else was sworn in, and someone else had been declared that they had won. The moment someone else was taking that oath of office, when you were claiming that you had won, what was going on in your mind?
It was really painful, I must say. It was really hard because, number one thing I want you to know and the nation to know is, when this thing had happened, because I was there and we talked at length with MAKE officials, and then the day they announced the results in Blantyre, I was called by late Mbendela, who was the chair for Malawi Electoral Commission. He called me himself. He said, "No, we're really sorry for what has happened. We've noticed that something went wrong, but then now there's nothing that we can do." Now they were telling me that our friend had won, which was even worse to me. And I was like, "Okay, so what are you saying? Are you going to announce the results?" He says, "No, we are going to announce the results, but your issue, it's as easy. So what you need to do is you go to court, present your issue in court, and then see how the court proceed. But as it is now, I have no power to change whatever." He actually called me himself, and some of the officials knows even that he called me.
So you took the issue to court.
Yes.
Of course, the court then announced that, did say that there should be a recount of the votes, and there was that fire at the warehouse for the Malawi Electoral Commission. Even after all that happened, why did you still continue with the case, looking at the fires taking place? Obviously, there was not going to be a recount. Why did you persist?
Okay, the reason why I persisted is because I wanted to show the nation that things did not go well. There was a problem. Let's face the fact here. it was declared that the elections were free and fair. You understand? Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to prove that it wasn't free and fair, because my issue is as straightforward as is. So the reason why I had to persist was simply to let the nation know that, if these matters can be fought in court, I will still stand my ground and prove to the nation that I had won. And then the other reason is because I was representing people. It was Lilongwe City South East constituency, 10,000 plus people that voted for me. I'm talking of those that were able to vote.
Yeah, because then the question someone may ask would be, whose battle were you fighting? Was it just for you to ensure that you are there in this seat, or you were fighting for people to have you represent them and their needs?
Let me be honest with you. I was not fighting for myself, for me. I stood my ground for the people, Lilongwe City South East constituency. Much as people might think that maybe I'm kind of stubborn or stuff, but it's not that. It was people, because people were so angry, they were mad. Say, we've been robbed votes here. We know who we voted for. So please, would you pursue this matter in court? It was people that sent me. Every day, they've been calling me, coming to my house. Some of them even shouting at me, why did you let these people do this thing? Please, we want the truth. We want the truth to transpire. So because I was within the period where I could query with the court to say, because we were given 10 days that we can query if the results were not okay. So I just had to do the appropriate. I had to do what my bosses, in this case the constituency, wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. That's exactly why I had to pursue this matter in court. Asking why, because it has taken so long, and then there have been fires and everything. A lot happened. Even myself, I didn't even expect that maybe this case would come this far. I thought that within, maybe, as even Mandela told me, the chair told me, that it's not going to take long, we believe, because this thing is straightforward. And we thought that the issue would end at High Court. But because our friends took it to Supreme Court, that's how we've come this far. Otherwise, this issue was finalized at the High Court. Mm-hmm. Because what the Supreme Court has said, that's exactly what the High Court said.
But the courts, let's be clear, the courts haven't said you won the election.
Yes.
They are saying, well, maybe there were some anomalies, yes. And then that needs to be rectified.
Yes.
And you appreciate that
yes,
the courts are not saying you won.
Actually, I must be honest here. What the court said is true. I mean, it's justice, because in the absence of ballot boxes, what else would one say? Because they were also relying on the votes, on the ballot boxes, but now the ballot boxes gathered fire, and then what else were they supposed to do? And again, the court, I must say here, didn't say that I won. They say there were a lot of anomalies, which is true. Even our friends, our opponent, also depicted the same thing. Say, no, there were a lot of anomalies. So if there were anomalies, even right now, if you ask them, if you ask anybody, if there were anomalies, you have to tell the nation, okay, if you won the election, at what margin did you win the election? Do you have the figure? Nobody has the figure. So that already shows that things did not go on well. So maybe somebody might misunderstand, but what I want to say here is the decision by the court is perfect, is good. On my side, I know I won, but I can never argue more because there are no ballot boxes. Right. We can't go back and recount. But there were a lot of anomalies, which even the court also depict. And then I must say here that the decision, the verdict, the judgment that has been passed is the right judgment.
Mm-hmm. So it's 3 years down the line. We are remaining with some 2 years before the next election. Oh, yes. I think it's still necessary to have that rerun.
As Malawi Congress Party, we believe in 4 pillars, 4 cornerstones. one of which is obedience. So, the matter was in court. Like you and me, we never thought that maybe this day is coming. And then the Supreme Court comes and say, this is it. There are times you can push matters, and there are times you can't even push because they just go automatic. Like, say in this case, the issue was in court. We tried, we asked, but we're told there's nothing that you can do. The issue is in court, they are still, reflecting on the files. See, your arguments, the affidavits, the ones that you guys submitted. So, to me, it's not like that I pushed or something, but the issue had just to come this way, but maybe it has taken long. But, that's not my problem. Yeah.
We have tried to speak to the Malawi Electoral Commission, and they have said that they will make a decision on the matter soon. But it's not clear when or if there will be indeed a rerun, and if it will happen when. It might take time, or it might be done soon. But have you spoken to them to understand how soon this election would be conducted? But
no,
this by-election?
I haven't spoken to them yet, and I just believe that we are in a nation where we respect decisions. In this case, like what the court say. So I also understand that this kind of issue, this kind of matter, has never happened in Malawi in the history of elections. So I also understand what Meg is saying. But reading from the press release that I saw yesterday, they're not saying that there's not going to be a rerun. They are saying there's still going to be a rerun. But then, because this thing is a new thing, it has never happened, they have to see some of areas how to go about it, because it also has to involve some maybe judicial, expertise. Mm-hmm. So you look at all this thing, there's nothing that we can do. We just have to wait. But we believe that the decision that has been made, the verdict that has been passed by the Supreme Court will be honored, because we are a nation that believe in laws.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think, so right now, constituents in Lilongwe City Southeast don't have representation in Parliament, mm-hmm. Because obviously the DPP candidate who was MP for these past 3 years now cannot operate as an MP. Mm-hmm. Don't you think somehow there is a disservice for your constituents because of this issue?
That's why when I was reading yesterday the press release, they are saying, this court decision was made on 6th, if I remember. That was on Monday. Mm-hmm. And then on 7th, the Malawi Electoral Commission responded by the press release, which we just say here. It means there's been an immediate response. From 6 to 7 is just a day. And actually, in their press release, they say they will try in as much as possible, the soonest period possible, to make sure that this thing comes to an end, like they make a decision. So for that, what I would say is, I don't think they will take so long. I don't think so, mm-hmm. because it is not, it is beyond even their maybe experience and all that, because this thing has never happened. Mm. But as we all know, we are governed by laws. It's there in the Constitution. Every constituency must have a representative. So there still has to be a representative. So they have to make sure. The only way we can do, I'm sure, is still a rerun. Mm-hmm. So I believe they will depict on that, and then they will look into it. They'll work on it, and then in a very shortest period possible, we should be able to have this thing and maybe a rerun being taken place.
So this now means that you need to start again campaigning, and that means time, that means money, and it may go either way. You may lose, you may win. Are you prepared for that process?
Oh yeah, I'm very much prepared, 100%. I'm prepared. I'm very much prepared. If you remember, as we were starting this program, I said, and I made it clear, that it was not just my decision, it's the decision by the constituents, the people in the constituency. In this case, who I say my bosses, the one that voted for me, they're the ones that wanted this thing to come to pass and make sure that justice has been carried out. As I'm talking now, people are excited that, oh, okay, so we're going to vote again. If, as you say, they vote against, if they vote for somebody else, if they vote for him, I mean, who am I to say no? They've loved him. But,
so you're saying that you will accept?
I will accept. I mean, why not? I will accept. Why not? If I lose, I'll accept. If I win, I will accept. I mean, it's people. It's their rights. They have power to, you know, to exercise their rights. So in this case, if they vote for me, well, that's okay. If they vote for him, that's fine. But the reason why I had to pursue this matter in court is because they sent me. They asked me to do it. It was not my decision.
Mr. Msungama, do you still think that you have the same chance to win this election, this by-election, as you did in 2014, considering that your colleague by now has demonstrated what he's capable of doing since he has been representing the constituents for some about 3 years?
Maybe if I can ask you a question again, when you say he has demonstrated what he's capable of doing, like what?
Well, he has been in this position. He has been an MP for the 3 years, and you have been outside, basically. So what I'm saying is he has been in the position, and people may have seen what he's capable of doing. Do you still think that you stand the same chance you did in 2014?
Okay, let's leave aside the what he's capable of doing, because that's another issue. But what I'm saying is, you know, the truth will still remain the truth. You know, there are things that you can hide. There are things that you can't hide. You cannot hide the sun. You cannot hide the moon. And so I believe you cannot hide the truth. One day it will still come to pass. So it's not about the period. And one thing I want the nation to know is, you know, when you stand by the truth, even the Bible said it shall set you free. Do you know that there are some people that actually lost interest? Say if come election again, even come 2019, we're not going to vote again, because it's like we're being represented by people that by maybe members that we didn't even send to Parliament. Even in my constituency, a lot of people say that if this thing continues, you know what, come 2019, there's no need for us to vote. So I know, like this kind of people, they're not just in Lilongwe City Southeast constituency. They're also out there. They're in Sanje, they're in Chitipa, they're in Mangochi. People so angry, they're so tied up, they're so given up, you know, lost interest. Even if they vote, they feel like their exercise will not going to be granted. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be, you know, they're not going to experience what they expect. So that's another reason why Lilongwe City Southeast constituency say, no, we have to pursue this. If really there's justice in Malawi, let's see how this matter will end. So we also want to set a precedence, set a standard that, you know what, if you stand by the truth can set you free. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not about the period like whatsoever. Right. Yeah, it's about doing the appropriate.
It seems to me that your political career has been marred by a lot of challenges.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Looking at what we've just been talking about, you were arrested at some point because of some conversations that you were having with your colleagues on WhatsApp, and the case is still ongoing. You still confident this is a career for you?
Well, you know, in every field, in every institution, in every career, there ought to be challenges. Challenges are always be there. I would give a lot of examples. I've worked before. Even you ask a footballer, you ask you there are challenges there. There are challenges. When I started politics, I knew I would meet challenges. Just that I couldn't know exactly what kind of challenges that I'm going to meet, I'm going to face, what kind of giants that I'm going to face. But, you know, when you're so confident of what you're doing, when you have a passion, you're not afraid of whatsoever come on your way. You still know that, you know what, I'll still stand my ground. I didn't know that at some point I would spend a night in the closet. I would spend a night in behind bars. I never thought, because I've never been there in my life. But well, I was there. I came to do politics, and then I found myself behind bars. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay.
Yeah. And you think that you still represent your people in Parliament?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Well, just before we go, we're running out of time, but I just wanted to quickly give you the chance. What difference do you think you would bring? Let's say you win in the by-election that is coming.
Mm-hmm.
What difference would you bring maybe in the 1 year that you'll be able to represent your constituency?
Yeah, I mean, the period is just too small, as you're saying, but let me tell you something. When I was standing for this position, for MP, I had a vision. I was not just going to do this thing for the sake of doing it, because many are the times that people are being represented, even in our constituency. There was a time, there was some representatives that, you know, they were not had passion to serve the community, to serve the constituency. So that moved my heart. That actually affected me. I said, no, this mediocrity has to end. Maybe you could be one of the people that we should start ending this mediocrity. There are a lot of champions of mediocrity. So I said, no, I'm going to do it. You ask me what difference am I going to bring? I already have projects in my head, what we're going to do. But that's not my project, that people's projects in the constituency. People have got needs. I'll give you an example. If you go to Nsambeta, that's one of areas in the constituency. Literally, there's no electricity, no water, no running water, no tap water. Just a kilometer away, you have electricity, you have water. Already, that's a hiccup. That's a problem. That's a difference. But then there are people that come into our constituency. They have never been there. They just know because they're in town and they want to represent the people. That's exactly what we're saying. No. So we know our constituency. I know my constituency. I was born there, raised up there, went to school, was staying there. I know it. So I have a passion. I have a passion to serve people. I have projects that I believe, not just me. I would work together with the constituency, with the people. So this is exactly what I'm saying. It's not about my personal interest. It's about bringing the real development, the long-awaited developments. So you ask me what I'm going to do within this period. I may not say much, but there's still things that I will do with the people.
Mr. Msungama, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
God bless you.